I hope you had a wonderful Easter break. We've been away for a little while whilst we're just taking a bit of a breather and enjoying the new spring weather. Today is the first video in a series of videos covering trapping and what trapping is. Now, trapping is a massive part of martial arts, usually understated as most people concentrate on grappling and striking and kicking and weapon work, but trapping is an amazing part of martial arts that we're going to cover piece by piece by piece. So today I'm going to bring Rockus in just a second, and with the two of us we're going to look over what trapping is and why we do it. So trapping is essentially when you meet some form of resistance whilst you're trying to attack somebody, you need to find a way to remove that resistance and then hit them again. And the really basic way to show it is using the slapping hand and hit trap. In Cantonese it's Pak Sao Da or Pak Sao Jik Chun Choi. There's tons of different names for it, but essentially it's a slapping hand and a hit. So what I'm going to get Rockus to do is step with a right lead, and he's going to hold his right hand up in front of me, in front of him, but in front of both of us, and this is the resistance, this is the barrier. You can get to this point in the different variations. If Rockus tries to punch me in the face, basically I can just meet the resistance here. So this is one version of the reference point. If I try and punch him and he blocks it, like that's the resistance here. Any which way we arrive at this point, if I feel resistance against the outside of my forearm, the way to trap is I'm going to push his hand, I'm going to slap his arm in towards him, and then I'm going to hit him. And that is the slapping hand trap. So as soon as I have this resistance, as soon as I feel that in a fight, however it got there, I'm going to slap and hit really quickly. And that's the slapping hand hit, or the Pak Sao Da. Of course, sometimes you meet somebody who's stronger, bigger, and more forceful than you in a fight, and you meet resistance and it completely knocks your attack off centre line. Now, I am a bigger fella than Rockus, but for today we're going to imagine that he's even more inhumanly strong than he already is, and he's going to knock my punch further off centre. I'm not going to be able to use that slapping hand hit, that Pak Sao Da, so I have to use another trap. And that's a decent rule to go with. If we try and use a technique that just isn't going to work, then we're going to get hit or we're going to get hurt. So we need to leave failed attempts behind and move on to something that's actually going to work. We always use a technique which is going to work, and as soon as it starts to fail, we need to move on to another technique really quick. We need to adapt. So with this, we're going to try for the first hit, because obviously if he doesn't trap, I just hit him in the face, I win. Whereas if I try and hit him and he goes too far past the centre line, I can't use Pak Sao Da from there. I can't slap his hand back towards him without clouting myself in the face. So I punch and he goes past that centre line. I'm going to go on this side instead. I'm going to Lap Sao, or grabbing hand, Lap Sao in Cantonese, and then I'm going to hit. Okay, so the movement is, as soon as I punch, he goes right past centre line, I grab and then I hit. Of course, now I've got to contend with his other hand, and that could either block that hit or it could clout me in the face. So as soon as I punch and I feel that energy go right past centre line, I'm going to get hit with this other hand unless I can clear him in time. So I go past centre line and grab, and then I block, and then I can grab and hit. So I've got other options, but you can see how a chain of movement, it looks scrappy, it looks messy, it doesn't look clean. You're not going to see much trapping in the movies because it's not as theatrical and flowery and larger movement, but you are definitely going to use it or find it useful in street situations or boxing situations because you are deliberately moving through somebody's defence. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw that attack. He's going to go right past centre line. I grab, I block, I grab here and hit and hit and hit. Constant traps, constant immobilisation of your opponent. If they can't hit you, they can't hurt you, but you can hit them, then it's only a matter of time until you win the fight. Of course, we're only giving you two examples here of trapping ability. There's the Pak Sao Da, the slapping hand and the hit, and then there's the Lap Sao Da, the grabbing hand and the hit. And those are just two examples of a much larger curriculum of trapping that's out there. There's crashes, there's invasions, there's pincer movements, there's scissors, there's all of these different nicknames for trapping techniques which are extremely effective. And so I'm just giving you two examples of what trapping can be, and then as you look through YouTube, as you look through Google, as you do the research in your own martial art, you're going to see so many different versions of traps that can work for you. This is the first video in a series of trapping videos, so I'm just going to give you a quick idea of different moves that we can do in trapping, and then you can see what we're going to do later on in that martial arts guy for trapping, and we start building on what we know. So this is the basic introduction to trapping. I'll leave you with a few examples of what you can do with traps and how they work.